Welcome to Jamlish, real talk with a little bit of Labrish. Hi everyone, welcome again, welcome. Here we are with another discussion, a very thought-provoking topic we've got today and debates. But what I want you to do first is subscribe and tell your friends. Subscribe to the channel and like and comment. Listen, audience, this is really important, you know. We really welcome your comments, yes? So we really appreciate it if you do comment and you do like and subscribe and tell your friends and tell everybody about Jamlish, because it's real talk with a little bit of Labrish. Right, so let's get started. Now, the topic of today, we're going to talk about the coronation. Yes, the King's Coronation. Before I introduce you to the panel, I actually asked the panel, now I haven't seen them yet, yeah, because we've been talking off camera, but I asked the panel, if you are a royalist, yes, wear a color that's going to represent the coronation today, because it's a big celebration today, isn't it? If you're not a royalist, to wear black. So, panel, let's see you. Hello, come in. Oh. Okay, we're all in black, okay, and we're going to debate why we actually wearing black, or why we've chosen not to represent the colors of the coronation that is happening. Now, I just want you to know, audience, what we discuss is our own feelings, our personal views, our personal comments, yes, around the coronation, because it's a free country, yes. It is a free country and we can express how we feel about particular topics, arguments, etc. Yeah. So even though it's a free country, with the cost of living rising, sometimes we have to wonder. Yes. Okay then. So as Black British born, because we're all born in the UK, yeah, we're all Black British born, yeah. We have the rights, as I says, to voice our thoughts and our feelings and opinions about the King's coronation, yeah? As we talk about being black, we want to talk about being black and British, yeah? And I really want to know from the panel how they, because it's something we haven't actually discussed, have we? We haven't talked about it, what your feelings are, you know? This morning I was in the gym and I was sat in the steam and I was talking to another African Caribbean gentleman, and I actually said, I says, oh, you're going watching the coronation today? And he says, oh, yes, I will be watching it at 2 o'clock. I says to him, what's Jamlish? He said, Jamlish? I says, yes, Jamlish. He says, oh, I don't know about Jamlish. So I gave him the details and I says, what's your show? Okay. Okay, then. So let's go into it. Before I go into anything, let me just give you some quotes and some figures as regards to how much the coronation is actually costing today. Now, the official budget of the event has not been made public, but there's been plenty of speculations, yeah? Some have actually said it's likely to cost between 100 and 150 million pounds, yeah, for today's event. The Daily Mirror put in a figure even higher, claiming that it's going to cost around 150 million in security costs alone. 150 million, you know, just 1 million would have done me nicely, right? And bringing the total up to 250 million. Start the debate, really. What do you actually think about that cost, that it's costing the coronation today?
No surprise.
You're not surprised? That's a whole heap of money.
We expect that from them.
Where's the money coming from?
No, we. They're not the money. They're not dip the money in their pocket. Yeah. The money will come from we.
Yeah, they're not going to dip in their own coffers, even though it's worth tens of billions.
In fact, the money is coming from the government because it's classified as a state event.
That's still we, Mish. Government don't have money.
Government don't have money.
They don't have money. Him have money in his pocket, money in his bank. Now you see money on this.
We have a cost of living crisis going on right now.
Yeah,
and it's coming out of the government's budget, which means that's the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Yeah. People can't even put on them eat. They're choosing between heating and eating, and it's costing 250 allegedly million pounds.
And they'll make up 4 times as that in hotel hospitality, merchandising. So they'll make it back. They'll make it back in taxes.
Wow.
They'll make it back.
Pamela, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, you know, it's like you said, there's so many people going without. There's so many organizations that could really do with that money. And it's being spent on, and it's the hypocrisy for me, because so many English people are out there, oh, you know, we're not interested in this and that, but yet still, on the other hand, they're calling out God save the king or whatever. And it just, it saddens me as well to think that they're going to spend all that money. Once again, we, as children of the enslaved, the people who have been so hard done by, are going to have to dip into our pockets to fund yet again the slave masters, because it's the taxpayers' money.
Yeah,
and that's how they get their money back in the taxes.
We don't dip in; they take it.
That's yeah. You're right.
How do they take it now?
Well, you get paid what's left. Remember. So you get paid, pay as you earn. Yeah. So you don't get your gross earnings; you get net earnings. So we have no choice. We have no choice unless you're playing on the other side of the courts.
It's I just can't believe it.
It's criminal.
It's criminal.
Well, a criminal enterprise built this.
Yes.
The legacy, you know, the institution, you know, Charles may not have done anything personally wrong, but he is benefiting on the back of a family and an institution.
And do you think he's aware of that?
Of course
he doesn't care.
Of course he is.
In no business.
He's a learned man. Of course he is. They know the truth. Yeah. The Commonwealth. The only thing they got in common is that Britain absorbs the wealth of all those countries. That's the Commonwealth. It was the empire. It's just rebranded. It's just rebranded. How can he wouldn't? You know, he wouldn't mind if they recognize and apologize for what they did, and paid reparations to all of those nations that they looted, plundered, and even awarded individuals, entrepreneurs who looted in the name of the king and queen at that time. They looted Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, the eyes of the Pacific. And what did they do for their, in terms of loot, ill-gotten gains? They were awarded Viscount, Lord this, Lady that, Duke this, Sir this, Admiral that.
Well, speaking of Charles, do you want to know how much he's worth?
Go on, I'm curious.
A recent investigation by The Guardian, right? Charles's wealth soars to 1.81 billion.
He's worth more than that.
Billion following the Queen's death. This is just a report from The Guardian. He's probably worth more than that. The eye-watering fortune apparently devises from assets including a private car collection worth an estimated 6.3 million. Yeah?
Okay. As the current custodian.
Private, hold on there. Private property worth 330 million. Yeah? And a stash of bling worth 533 million. So let's talk about the bling. When them talk about the bling.
We don't love no bling, Charlie.
Simeon, where you think the bling is? Where you think the bling coming from?
We say bling, well, are we in it again? That's it, I'm saying, I've rabbit in it.
Yeah, that big old ruby that you see them carrying, that big everlasting African ruby, that is the bling. The jewels where them having at the tower, where them have the raven them guarding it. Ravens, you know, guarding, yeah? Guarding the tower with all the jewels them, where them teeth, and because them teeth it, remember my mommy always say, no, teeth never like pissy teeth with long bag. So because them teeth it, them have to hide with them teeth because they know say somebody else I go con teeth it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bling.
When you look at the bling axis, you're the head of
Africa the bling come from?
Yes.
right.
Africa, India.
Yeah.
Pure
Right, Simeon. Yep. When you see you're the current head of state, he's on the head of state of this nation. He's head of state of a majority of the so-called former imperial nations under the Commonwealth. If you take in the lands, yeah, which is real estate, and real estate come from the word real as in royal estate, it's a king's estate. So you think of all the lands, Canada, Australia, all those places, and all the monies all the minerals that's come from there. And he's getting a piece of all that. You're telling me,
angry, you know. I'm sorry.
you're telling me, and not only that, he's also on the back of the most precious jewels of all, our sweat equity and our ancestral sweat equity. And don't forget, all those things the king's state gets a piece of, you know, over 400, 500 years. And you're telling me just 1 billion.
Go back to the bling and the billions and whatever.
The bling.
Listen, in response to the research, a spokesperson for HRH, His Majesty. Oh, well, here you go. HRH. What that stand for?
His
Royal Highness.
Royal Highness said, while we do not comment on private finances, you'll see there's a highly creative mix of speculation, assumption, and inaccuracy.
Which is lie about 10.
If we get it wrong, it's more money. You know, the Queen's funeral cost 10 million. Cost around 10 million, you know. The Queen's mom's funeral cost around, back in 2002, that cost about 5.4 million. So where is this money coming from? Are you saying that the government, it's taxpayers' money, all of this?
It just goes to show how much they actually get in taxpayers' money. So when they're saying that we don't have funds for this, we don't have funds for that, it just goes to show that they do.
As a sovereign, sovereigns operate above the government. They exist in a reality beyond the government because the sovereigns put the government into existence. Sovereigns do not pay tax.
Okay, let's explore. What are your feelings on the King's Coronation? Let me go around. Simeon, what are your feelings? What's your personal feelings about the coronation today?
I want to thank Charlie for. One something me thank Charlie for personally.
Yeah.
Me get Monday off. Trust me, that's all. Me get Monday off.
Yeah.
Sorry that no, it's not something that me I didn't want. To be honest, it was a struggle to come here and talk about it because it's not something. It's not really at the top of my conversation list. Not at the bottom, to be honest. You know what I mean? My little voice over here, so now I go change nothing.
You know,
I'll give you a quick one, and I don't get this. If you can help me, please help me. I trouble me for years.
Yeah.
One year, I can't remember when, in naturally long time ago, she dead now. The Queen's mother's gate blew down, a big gate. And she sent out letters for people to contribute to build up the gate. She sent letters, Mish. My brethren put, I wouldn't tell you what my brethren put on Moon. You can off, so it's finished.
Rewind again, for the purpose of the audience. The Queen Mother
sent out.
Yes.
Many years ago, I wish I could remember the year, I would tell you the exact year, but I know it's true because I did get one.
Yeah.
Some letters, some kind of letter, something.
Yeah.
I say, if you can contribute to our gate because it did fall down, it broke down for some reason.
Oh my.
I can't believe that.
And I would make it up.
No, I know, but no.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
See, the question is based on, you know, Simeon's example is a perfect example. If there's a public funding for these events, and they've got assets in land holdings, corporate holdings, and don't forget, he's also got the Duchy of, he's got the land of Cornwall, which pays him rent. Yeah, he's the Duchy of Cornwall as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes, he is.
Right.
And he still is, even though he's
still is.
Yeah.
And don't forget, so that's just one estate with taxes and incomes coming in, and also farms. What do you think they're doing? What do you think his money managers are doing with all those money, buying, acquiring more assets across the Commonwealth?
investing.
Investing, acquiring assets, income producing assets.
So now, what's your feelings about the coronation?
The coronation is just.
How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about it? I feel it's just another reinforcement of the legacy of imperialism, colonialism. It is asking us to be part of this is, it probably is like asking, I don't know,
Insulting.
It's asking.
It's like asking me to eat bacon and pig foot.
No, it's like asking.
Because you know what I mean. It's a big art. It's a big art.
Like a Nazi person being emperor and asking the Jewish community to wave a flag. That's basically what you're doing. It is, and we need to be bold enough to face that reality. Yes, it's all pomp and pageantry, but at the same time, they don't acknowledge what was what took to get to that stage, and the legacy and the fallout from us as children.
You know the wickedest thing, man? Sorry for cut there. That's something Mish said a little while, and I see that as true. Whereas, you see, you, I, sister, well, everybody is so in a black, believe in the same thing, but you have a section of we, you know. There's a section of we that champion them.
Well,
it's forced upon us though, isn't it? We've got no choice.
No man, some of them champion them, they don't need it, them are royalists. Some of the people, them are royalists.
Oh, you mean our people? Yeah.
Our people.
Absolutely. I spoke to people this morning. I could hear people in the steam and the sauna. Oh, yes, I'm going on to watch it. I'm going to shopping, and then I go.
You have that section, man.
I sat there, you know, there's just some things you just can't say.
You know,
well, I have to say, Sim, for many years, I was guilty of one of those people.
And
right? I remember when Princess Diana died, I remember exactly where I was. I remember that I was in the company of fellow Black people who were not royalists, and I wanted to cry and I couldn't because of who I was with. So I left and went straight to my mom's. My mom opened the door, held out her arms, the two of us was bawling, right? I remember when I first came to Spain, sometimes life gives you a good teaching, and I learned something today, right? With this coronation thing. When I first came to Spain, I was still quite a royalist. Yeah. I remember the new king was being crowned when I was working here, when I first started working here. And I went to a company and I made them find a TV, a room with a TV. I made them sit and watch the coronation to translate to me, right? As part of the class, because I could not believe that all these Spanish people were just going about their day. There was no holiday here. I couldn't believe that it was like a bulletin running across the news and it wasn't a big thing.
It wasn't a big
said,
thing.
how can you be like that? Your king is being crowned. Then look for me and say, what them do for me?
But then that we were conditioned,
no,
weren't we?
So that's what I'm saying with Simeon. So I was one of the people that Simeon's speaking about, because I was actually like, I couldn't believe the disrespect of not giving it a national holiday and having everybody sit down and watch it. But as you grow and you learn.
As you grow and you learn, exactly.
You grow and you learn. Even as big and grey as me is, me grow and me learn. And on this day, I can say I completely understand their feelings and their thoughts, because I have absolutely zero interest in this coronation business. I neither feel angry, I don't feel anything, I don't have no interest in the royal family.
No feelings.
Them don't do nothing for me. Them don't do nothing for me before me and before the me before me. Them don't do nothing for me. So I have no interest, and I fully understand. And one of the students actually was very angry, and they made a complaint that the English teacher forced them to take part in something that they're against. Yeah,
well, just listen,
and I understand, because nobody could make me watch that coronation today.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Right, so let's look at this clip here. Now, remember, we are British, but we are Jamaican descent, yeah? And Jamaica is part of the Commonwealth, yeah? Look at this clip.
At this bar in Kingston, no one really cares about King Charles's coronation. He's the king of Jamaica too, but to a lot of people here, that makes no sense.
If I need to go to the UK right now, I need a visa. Things like that makes me look on the head of state, and I'm asking, like, what is the purpose?
I think it's time for us to address it as a nation. We should move past the monarchy and become autonomous.
At Immaculate Conception, an all-girls high school in Kingston.
Are you guys gonna watch the coronation?
No. I didn't even know that was happening.
These students want a head of state who looks like them.
Princes, princess, kings are from fairy tales, and fairy tales are like old, really old. And we're in the modern day where I can be on my laptop, my phone, etc. Why am I seeing a king?
Summer Lee, Tony Ann, Jade, and Dana are all old enough to vote in the referendum the government is planning on removing Charles as head of state by 2025.
Slave trade from the very beginning. The Royal African Company that forced people here operated under a royal charter from King Charles II. And many of the people brought here were branded, literally burned with the letters DY for the then Duke of York, who ran the company.
Even when emancipation finally came, the enslaved got nothing. Instead, £20 million, nearly $30 billion today, was paid out to slave owners by the British government for their loss of human property.
What we really want is for someone to have the balls to apologize and say, we are sorry.
Instead of an apology, all Jamaica got was this.
I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened.
Last year's tour was meant to be a charm offensive, but with a colonial-tinged military parade. And this disastrous photo op, it only spurred Jamaica's plans to move away.
What does it say to you that there just hasn't been an apology?
An apology alone is not enough. Some kind of reparation is needed, whether in terms of health care, education. So a program is needed to right that wrong, because that wrong is still out there.
Now they just hope the UK and the royals do something to atone.
even if it's not monetary, there are many other ways we could explore working together as a nation to make Jamaica economically buoyant, you know, because I don't think it's beyond us as a people to be a first world country.
What do you think?
Says it all.
Sad. It's sad.
But this is the perspective. This is what I'm talking about, living and learning, because you then start to, you know, educate yourself, and you speak, you start to sit amongst people who have more knowledge than the whitewashed knowledge that you've had, which a lot of us have had, unfortunately, Simeon. There are a lot of us that are like that because of the whitewash that we've experienced all our lives. In primary school, I remember the Jubilee, you know, in every time there was a Jubilee, it was such a big deal. These people were forced in front of us. A lot of us, unfortunately, did become whitewashed and therefore royalists. You know what I mean?
Queen,
and this is an example.
Do you know 6 times she toured Jamaica? The Queen did, yeah? And locals would line the streets with the flags and the this and that and whatever. God save the Queen. Yes, that's what they used to say. Yeah. But as you said, Pamela, and you, Simeon, as you learn, as you get older, because I remember when I first came to Birmingham, from London to Birmingham, and they had a street party and everyone was getting involved and the Queen and whatever. But, you know, I was like 9 years old, 9 or 10 years old, not knowing, well, you know, oh, this is absolutely fantastic, you know? But as you do get older, and it's a whitewash and it's a brainwash, isn't it?
Most definitely.
Yeah? Until you get older.
You never see the football. You never see the football. Something the other day, me watch one something sweet. Me see the Scottish team. I think they were Scottish. They sound. Did you see it? Oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. It's they were chanting about the coronation.
They said what? Sorry.
They were chanting about the coronation. They were actually telling the English what they can do with their coronation.
Really? Oh,
and you know football, bro, you know when them chants,
the crowd,
the crowd in, them no hold nothing back. I'm not going to repeat it because maybe we'll get blocked off the YouTube, but you know, you can imagine what they said, and they didn't hold back. But
let's just say they're not in favor.
Yeah.
So do you think that the monarchy, you know, overall, do you think that it should be abolished? Do you think that it's old-fashioned, it's not modern anymore in this modern world, right? Do you think, because of, obviously, you know, we know our history around, you know, the monarchy and the royal and the money that's been spent and the robbing and all that, and the, you know, the slave trade and all of that. Yeah, it's all built on the royal, isn't it? On royalty, isn't it?
As long as they have a right to self-define themselves and have a monarchy and preserve their heritage. But they need to carry that same energy to people of color worldwide who want to acknowledge their own sovereignty and heritage.
I was going to say, what about our heritage? You know what I mean?
So my position, my official position is, let them, if they want to keep the monarchy, I respect that. But we have to be monarchs of our own and be respected for it.
Yes.
They need to apologize what they've done. For what they've.
You think we will get an apology? I mean,
right? No, I'm just telling you my position, right? But the Commonwealth, they need to have their own heads of state.
Yeah.
Right? Self-determination, self-liberation, and that the relationship between nations should be on an equal, no master-slave, colonial, mother country relation. That is done. So you keep your monarchy, but you make sure you deal with us on equal terms and recognize those countries' rights and those people's determination to self-rule.
Yeah, but do you think that there is a place in this modern society for monarchy, for royal? I mean, come on, we're in modern times now. What purpose are they actually serving? Do you think that, you know, that they should still be there?
For me, there should be just like a tourist attraction if they insist on keeping them. Have them in a one house, have all of them in a one place where them have to come out and people can look on them and take picture and then go along about them business and them earn a salary feed. If them want money
Well, like
from
waxwork,
them,
like waxwork.
yeah, they have to turn up. No, but let it be a job. They have to turn up to earn their money. If people want to take 1,000 photos, they have to sit there and take 1,000 photos. All when them can't bond them, to stand up and take a picture of them, and then go and go your business back to your house. You've done your daily job. That's the only thing I see, just as a kind of a tourist attraction, like when you go to any cartoon place or playground and go pay your money if you see them. Then people have a choice whether they want to support it or not. And that's it. It's a job.
Simeon, what do you think? Do you think that they should abolish the monarchy, or do you think there's a place for them in today's society?
In truth, Mish, me hear what Mal say, and me hear what Sister Pam say, I'm on the same lines too.
Yeah.
If they want to keep it, it doesn't bother me. I wouldn't be out there chanting, get rid of the money. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. And Sister Pam, and me on that side too, whereas that's the only thing I can see them doing for this country is bringing in, what do you call it, revenue.
Tourist income.
Just do you think they're bringing more money in than what's being spent today then? Do you think that, obviously, shops are going to be open and street parties and, the hotel, the leisure industry?
But the United Kingdom is a brand name. A brand name, and the royal family is an institution at the head of that brand. Yeah.
A lot of people make money off it too, Mish, so you have to look at that too. Some people just did it for the money. It's like Xmas, Christmas. Some people just did it for the money. What? They might raise a cheese. Let's keep a street party and raise some money.
Yeah. And rightly so. Use them, yes. Them use we enough. Use them, yes. If at the end of the day, they get paid on whatever they make in that day, it's split between all of them, and you go about your business. If you only get 100 photos today, sorry, that's your salary for today. Do you know what I mean? No, none of this, all the expenses. I mean, millions for somebody to have a hat put on his head. And there's people dying of hunger right there in England.
How can you find money for this, but you can't give nurses and teachers pay?
That's what I mean.
Well, exactly.
And you can't raise the standard of living costs for people. You could put everybody off the positive line with a stroke of a pen.
So really, in this country, nobody really has to be poor, because evidently the amount of money that's being spent today.
No.
In the world, Mish, bigger than that in the world.
In the world, actually, in the world.
Yeah,
you're
it
right.
can be balanced. Yeah. But you have certain small pockets that hold all of the money.
Yeah.
When you check it out, the percentage of people that really hold the purse is
I mean,
very small.
These things make me wonder, when you hear people saying that they're inhuman, these things make me wonder if there's truth in that, because how can you be human and have a heart and be happy knowing that that much is being spent on you for one day?
How can you sleep at night knowing that people, they're not able to feed the children, they're not able to...
Yeah, but I'm not the same way we speak. We have to remember who eyes them look out.
They're not human.
Who eyes them look out? They look out for them eyes, They're not thinking like us. They're not looking at it from our perspective. Him comfortable, him all right, him look at him roll. Him now worry about the poor
idiot them where I struggle to buy 2 burgers today to cook on them plate.
They go to London.
Listen, people
come to London.
People in general, when you're in that level, they look at the proliferate, is the term, masses as useless eaters, right? So they see themselves above shepherds of the sheep. That's always been from those who own the castle and the serfs that plow the field. That hasn't changed. Modern technology and methodologies. You're talking about modern times, Mish.
Yeah.
Nothing modern about it. It's just rebranded and repackaged into a different term. Because people are working like slaves. They're living like slaves. They're not living.
Yeah, but when I say modern times, I mean, the way how we have technology and all of that, and our younger generation that are coming up. Do you think that they have a particular interest in the royal family, the monarchy? Do you? I mean,
I don't see.
I haven't heard my daughter say, or my son, oh, you know, I'm going down to London, you know, to say. Do you know what I mean?
When it was the Silver Jubilee, 1977, I think. There were street parties every year, and everyone was excited about it. There was more of a hoo-ha then, especially amongst the Black community. There were than now, because a lot of the Windrush situation has made people
more aware.
Hold on a minute, and how people have been treated across the world. Yeah, not just because the attitude towards them and us across the world. And we're not being, our pain or suffering has not been acknowledged. And on top of that, you've got the Afro-Saxons, those people that look like us, but have the mentality like to be, you know, they're basically British, not British, they're like Euro-minded.
European.
Eurocentric views, the Eurocentric views,
You know, what people call coconuts or whatever. So I call them Afro-Saxons,
Bounty.
They're the ones who like, well, you know, this is the good old so-and-so, and, you know, them feel...
Oh, there's an excuse for a good old piss off.
Always make an excuse, you know.
But you know what, man, because them are right. Because
they're all right. They're all right. But they're not, it's not systematic of us generally. And in life, things are judged generally. Yes, there's always exceptions to the rule, but in life, you must see things generally. If I see 10,000 snakes coming towards me, 2 of them might be not poisonous. Am I going to take that chance?
You're not taking the chance.
That's what
Some black people in Britain now that have, you know, that are here, black people in Britain, whether they're born here or, you know, raised here. What do you suppose their views are?
I imagine
people
quite
who
mixed.
People who raise us, sir?
Yeah, black people in Britain now. I mean, you know, we've got the Carnation. Are we excluded from the Carnation, or, you know, do you know?
Well, there was an example yesterday.
I know there's an opera singer that's.
They were interviewing, right? Some American and Canadian people and some woman from Singapore that had all the regalia, you know, the flags.
Yeah.
The black man in the back, the man looked like a walking flag. Right? Trying to get into the camera. Right? He was obviously larger than life. You know, they ignored him.
Always.
You know, they ignored him.
Audience, please read your history.
Hi, this is Vero from Jamlish. Hi, Bertie, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes. Did you watch the coronation today?
Yeah, I watched a couple hours or so.
Couple of hours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're really interested. So what do you think of it? What did you think of
it? It was interesting. It looks a bit of a clown with all that stuff on, though, isn't it? All that gold and stuff on it. It did look a bit of a clown.
Oh, I heard you watch it with the kids.
Yeah, I watched it with the boys. They were interested. They got a bit bored towards the they were bored after it, but I forced them to watch it so they can learn something.
Yeah, because my daughter, she said that she wanted to see the coronation. And I think, and then at one point I said to her, I noticed that she wasn't. I said, you can watch it if you want to, you know. She said, okay. I think she felt, because of my views, she wanted to look, but she didn't want to say. But I can also say, yeah, you can watch it. But I think it's more a curiosity thing with the younger people. They'll probably look for 5 minutes, because for them, if they turn it on and they see that it's for like 2 hours or 3 hours, straight away they're thinking, oh, I'm not watching that.
To be honest, Sister Pam, we disagree with that. I think majority, I wouldn't say totally, I can't say totally. No, I stick up my head and say totally, but I would say majority, I stick up my head and say majority of the young one, them not care, then they on them phone, and do whatever.
Well, that's what I mean. It would just be like curiosity, them just look to see what, and then they're not, there's no interest. It's just, this is happening today. You know, like social media, something's happening, something's popular. Let's have a look. Okay, is that what it is? Or I'm not
Listen, Pamela, if I ask my son, if he's going to watch the coronation, he would think that I have lost the plot, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
He definitely would do.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
But it could be, I wonder if it's because we're living here though in Spain. I wonder if it's because she's not living in England, because the
it
children
could
in
be
England, they have
hyped up
like,
No, but
differently.
this is
they
a
have
view.
zero interest. The ones
This is a view which is uniform across the
World.
so-called Commonwealth. Jamaica wants to be a republic. Grenada wants to be a republic. There's a growing trend towards not having King Charles as their head of state anymore.
Yeah.
And Governor General, they want to quash all that. They want a president. Okay, because they recognize the patterns that why is everyone getting reparations apart from we?
Us. Yeah.
Why everybody's pain and sojourn is being acknowledged apart from we? There is systematic and economic and political disrespect.
And
Yeah.
Cannot be ignored. Can't be ignored anymore.
Unfortunately, Jamaica is part of the Commonwealth. However, they still have to apply for a visa, as the young girl, I think she said in that clip earlier.
But Trinidad's a republic, still part of the Commonwealth.
Why are you applying to come to the UK if you're part of
The Commonwealth. Correct.
Yeah? Why are they still having to go through this immigration process?
Why is it easier
the UK,
for someone from Australia?
If the Queen or the King is a head of state?
Why is someone from Australia, New Zealand, and Canada find easy access to come into this country than people of color?
The rest of the world.
Why? It's the same.
And you know something to me, Shem. We don't know if it's that, not for it's that. Whereas you see when they take exams in Jamaica, the papers was marked here. The papers marked over here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, where the level of English don't even touch the level of English that their standards in Jamaica. Because have you seen how they have to write, how they have to make sure that everything's up, and their papers are being marked by people that don't even know how to use the language correctly. Imagine that.
Why is the papers marked there? I mean, aren't there competent teachers out there to mark?
Yes.
You know they are.
Hello?
It's the system. It's the system.
Supremacy.
You know, as Simeon said, it's the system. Test mark in England, test score in England. What on earth is the Privy Council still doing in Jamaica? Laws.
Oh, they have education ministers. And
No, yeah, but even worse, the laws are framed here, but administered by the Privy Council.
Yeah.
Right? It's a mockery, right? That Jamaican flag is a mockery. There's no economic independence. There's no independence. Test scored and marked in England as
I never celebrate independence because I want to know what's independent about.
What's independent?
Independence was created so that we could be sent back home. That's why that was created. That's why we were
That's a
given
bad idea.
Because
before that,
when
was created for Jamaican people to come to the country.
Remember, we were given citizenship. When they came, they were given citizenship. So by giving them citizenship, it's not as easy to then expel them. So hold on, no. Let's give them their independence. Let's make it independence. So yeah, so you're a Jamaican again now. And look what happened, the Windrush, the whole thing just brought it all to light, why it was all done. And that's why I don't celebrate independence, because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Once our work was done building this country back up, the same thing happened in the Reconstruction period in America. You had the slaves, built America, repeat, built America from the ground up, right? The Masons, the roads, everything was built by slaves. They didn't pay those slaves for 400 years, made America catch up to Europe, be the richest nation on the earth. But they realized that they were outnumbered by such slaves, and the slaves had the trades. So after the First World War, what did they do? Open their gates to Europeans into America who had trades. so they can then basically, okay, the work's done now. We can bring our own people in now who's got trades. Yeah.
And with the Windrush generation,
And then you had change the immigration law.
Just remember, we
Same
were
thing. It's the same. It's a
our
similar thing.
parents, foreparents, grandparents were invited.
Yeah.
Invited.
Yeah.
To come.
Invited and offered
To
citizenship.
England.
They didn't ask for it. They were offered it.
They were
Come
offered.
to
But
the
you know
mother
another
country.
thing, Mish? You know another thing?
Hmm.
That's why this everything about this something. There was a time when the Jamaican, if you stretch back far enough, the Jamaican dollar was worth more than the English pound.
1984.
Yes.
One.
Right? And they came along with a loan. Them look at it and say, no, that's dollar supremacy. They came along
That's
with
right.
a loan.
That's right.
And
One.
give them, and no, they might pay back that loan.
Yeah.
One Jamaican dollar in 1984. Simeon's touched on something very important. 1984, one Jamaican dollar was 4 British pounds, 8 American dollars. Dollar supremacy. So the IMF, World Bank says, right, we're going to come in massive loans, and then we're going to tell you how to spend it. And then basically broke down the development of the country.
So, and with it being a third world country, that is a huge consequence of Jamaica being a third world country.
I hear that terminology to you, Mish. Sorry to jump in, so that really touched me now. This, because I look on it a long time, third world country.
I know, that's why
not you. Third world country mean third class.
Yeah.
So
We need
here's
to
the
have the new
first
terms.
world and the second world.
Yeah,
Listen. Words, I mean, some of them words are really trouble me, man.
Listen, the Caribbean and the Americas and Africa constitutes the first world because we're the original people on the earth.
Thank you.
Civilization.
I'm glad you put that out
first
there.
societies. We're the first world because we were first.
But I'm going to give you a joke, Simeon.
Go on, man.
Third world, yeah? Because, you know, with the whole Brexit thing now, yeah? My daughter we are in the process, my daughter is having to fight to be able to return here where she lives because Brexit happened while she was in the UK. So when we went to see somebody about it here, guess what the man turned and told my daughter? He says, which country are you coming from? And she said, England. He says, oof. You're going to have trouble now because you are coming from a third world country.
Oh,
that's what the Spanish European man said about England.
You're coming from a third world country.
Yeah, that's
how we describe.
That's how Europe sees England now. They see England as a third world country. They don't have the ups that they had before because of that CM Brexit. And because of
the Brexit, wasn't it?
Yeah, those were his exact what we looked and I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, that's what him said to her and say you're not going to be as easy now because you're coming from a third
world. William said that already.
But not to go off the subject or anything, but why is your daughter applying for citizenship in Spain when you are
when I did here because
resident?
When she went back to university there, so she was staying in residence in university and COVID happened, so she couldn't come back before the deadline. Over.
Okay.
So because she wasn't resident, because we were paying resident fees there for the halls of residence, and because she couldn't come back because the deadline, and the thing is how they did it, I heard about 3 weeks before the deadline. And then I started telling all my English friends here, none of us were told. It was not highlighted. It was not publicized. It was word of mouth. So a lot of them ended up in problems. And some of them are still fighting today here for their permanent residency because it wasn't highlighted either.
The monarchy is a symbol of white supremacy, which is what black people have had to contend with for the last 400 years, notwithstanding the fact that Elizabeth, or every king and queen from Elizabeth I.
You think the last late queen was a model of white supremacy?
Let me finish my point. You just asked me several questions. Let me finish my point.
Well, answer the question.
Right, I'm getting there, so just finish.
Well, hurry
Let me
up.
just finish, okay?
Hurry up.
So, Every king and queen from Elizabeth I to William IV has supported and profited off of slavery. So you keep talking about slavery. Let's just be clear about slavery. Yes, you did end slavery. You've made that point and you've made that point, so let me address it. You did end slavery, and there was a clause in the contract that said, for example, that Jamaicans had to work up to 45 hours a week for the following 4 years, whilst you simultaneously paid off the slave owners and left the enslaved in their countries to rot. And then you transitioned to colonialism, where slavery still continued, and then you transitioned to the Commonwealth,
I agree.
where you continue to assert your dominance, exploit black people, and do it in a far more dignified way, while simultaneously.
Okay. So just going back to the monarchy and whatever, what do you think Diane would be, if she was alive today? Would she be wishing Charles and Camilla all the best in being queen and king?
Mish, we have a picture. We have a picture, but the one said you know. I don't know if you see it.
I've seen it.
That says it all, Miss. That answers your question, and I believe that's what you would feel.
Right.
Yeah. I see
You know what?
it.
Yeah, I really don't think she'd be bothered. I think she'd be laughing at it all. I think she'd be laughing because it's like, I think she was over him. She was over them. Remember, she was
but remember, she was an innocent 19-year-old, and she was very much in love with Charles.
Yes, but
if that didn't happen, or if he didn't have Camilla on the side, you know, she was in love with him. It's not like
himself, Mish. Yes,
you know,
she was. But then she got over it. She got over him. She found herself a real man.
She knew the setup.
Real black man. Yeah.
Yeah, she found herself a real man. You know, that gave her real love.
And your views on Harry? Do you suppose Harry has turned up today? Well, I'm sure he has turned
up. I like
up.
Harry, you know, Mish. Funny thing, I like Harry.
Yes.
He's not the only one who really kind of, so me like the way him just militant and not. It's like him not like none of that, you know.
Yeah.
From young, me notice that I want to look militant. Me not too keen on him brother, but me like him.
Yeah, he's always been aware of his position, hasn't he? He's always known that he.
And look who he married.
Well, he's like a second-class citizen within the royal, isn't he? He will never be king, will he? Where he is, where the pecking order, right? He will always be, you know, behind his brother.
No, well, him not care about that. Him not care about that.
No.
But him want to be true to himself, and he was attracted to a woman of color.
Yeah.
That go against everything what them believe.
From him first got Jamaica.
Yeah.
And he said the winery, when she put out the
It
winery.
go against everything them believe.
I'm joking.
He is his own person, isn't he?
That's what I respect with him.
So we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. So how will you be celebrating the coronation today? Simeon, you first. How would you be celebrating today?
I think you word that wrong. You say, "Oh, would I be celebrating?" I ain't gonna be celebrating. You have things to do. I have to go check jars on the road.
That's why me asking you, how would you be celebrating it? No, you won't be celebrating.
That's my celebration. I tell you, when I celebrate the Monday, then give me off.
The Monday.
Lucky you. We don't get no day off.
You never get no Monday.
No.
I don't feel king.
Oh, we're off on Monday. I'm telling you.
When the Spanish king was getting crowned, there was no public holiday. Nobody did business. It was business as usual.
Whoa. Money talk.
Mal, how would you be celebrating the coronation today or not?
I'll be taking it very easy and enjoying the bank holiday weekend. That's what I'll be doing. On the subtopic of King Charles, he would get more respect if he acknowledged the people who he has had his inheritance from.
I agree, and he's in a position to. He's in a very, very powerful position to do that.
He's in his position to do so.
Yeah.
He might be a nice bloke, whatever, I don't know him. But the point is, he'd get more respect if he acknowledged, because he's the head of state, he's the figurehead.
Head of state, yeah.
And he has the power to do so.
And he needs to apologize.
To influence a new attitude.
He has apologies to make.
Yeah, yes, he does.
I can't understand is why is it such an issue for them to apologize?
But he's got lots of supporters, royalists will try and talk for him and say he doesn't need to apologize. He never done nothing.
Well, in his heart of hearts, he must know if he apologize.
No, but Michelle, what you have to understand is when you say you are sorry for something, you are holding yourself accountable. You're admitting accountability. And accountants, money, if they admit accountability, we have to get paid, just like it was done with the other groups that were mistreated in the past. Once the apology was made, they had to pay because they're saying we are accountable.
And what is so dreadfully wrong in that?
Because then there has to be accountability, which then becomes payment. And that's why we're not going to get it.
What would you be doing, Pamela, today?
Well, I have a birthday party to go to, and I never realized till this morning that the birthday party is also something to do with Jubilee. So I am going to go and wish happy birthday and yam some of the food and drink some of the drink, and then I'm going to bid my goodbyes because I won't be celebrating. I have no intention.
So you won't be sitting with your friends and watching?
No, no. And if it's on the big screen, if it's on the screen, I won't even be looking in the direction. I'm not there for that. I'm not going to be hypocritical. And Jamaican blood run through with you, and you know, as Jamaican, we feisty like that. So no celebrations on my part.
Hello everyone, this is Vero from Jamlish. I'm here with Maka. I'm going to speak to him today about his views on the coronation. So Maka, King Charles III, what do you think of the coronation today?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've got no views on that man. No views whatsoever. He is not my king. Simple as that.
Well, what do you think about the other members of the royal family? You've got King Harry, Prince Harry, you've got Prince William, and all the other members of the royal family in British society today. What do you think of the royalty in British?
So all of them from the Babylonian system, I don't care two hoots about any one of them.
Okay, do you think they should abolish the monarchy?
It doesn't make no difference to me whether they keep it or whether they now want to abolish it. Right? All these people now have been in Likkle, England flagging and saying, and God save the Queen, most of them can't even pay them on electric bill. Madness, I don't care. If you want to learn, people, if you want to learn about your true history, please, right? This is a book, Robin Walker, right? Google the man named Robin Walker. This is the greatest book of all time, When We Rule, right? Learn about your black history, When We Rule, by Robin Walker. This is the second edition, right? And we also went on a cinema, and going back a few years, this is a fantastic, great videos now, right? About ancient Kemet, right? And it's called The Temple of Amen by Quasi. Right?
Don't you think it's a sad state of affairs that, you know, we are, you know, people of the generation, and we've been born here in the UK, we've been raised here, yeah? And don't you think it's a sad state of affairs that we don't have that motivation or the inkling, I certainly don't,
I think it's wonderful.
Want to turn on
I don't see it as sad, you know, Mish.
I think it's wonderful.
No, I don't see it as sad.
No, I mean in terms of the wrongs that have been done, yeah? If the wrongs were put right, yeah, and accountability were made and that,
I still wouldn't celebrate.
You all said you don't have a problem with us having a monarchy. However, you know, it doesn't affect you or whatever, but they've done wrong. They've done wrong. And if the wrong's put right, yeah, maybe we'll feel differently. Maybe we will be wearing red or blue or white today. It's a sad state of affairs.
Nope. Ain't gonna happen. No.
If we do have one colors mission enough for them, I can tell you.
Yeah. I think it's good that we are aware and we are
absolutely
to ourselves, and we love ourselves as we should, to know that this is not our celebration to be had. It's not for us. And
well, I have to question what is, because you know, I'm not celebrating Independence Day. So what do we celebrate? We're birthday.
On that topic, how would the general feel if you was acknowledged for your contribution to society? Would you accept the King's medal?
Ah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's have your comments, please.
Yes,
Put your
yes.
comments
Well,
in the
and
box.
that's for another show, and it's a very good question. And it's one that requires a lot of thought, because would many of us, as much as we are against, would we actually turn that medal down?
Yeah.
I know there was one guy who did anything, did tell them to take it and shove it.
Zephaniah, man.
Zephaniah, Benjamin
Yeah.
Zephaniah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there
absolutely.
are, I know a few who have accepted the medals.
Not for them reach and switch. Anyway, come back, Mish.
Yeah. So, yes, okay. We have come towards the end. We have come towards the end of our debate of coronation. What will you be doing today? Will you be watching it? Will you be watching the highlights of the coronation? Do you actually see where we're coming from? Do you agree with us? Let's have your comments. Put your comments in the comment box. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. Yeah. And like and share as well. Share it with your friends. You've been watching Jamlish Real Talk
with
Labrish. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Audience,
Bye.
bless up, man. Bless up, panel. Respect. See you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Jamlish na hard to find, you know.